Oh, I saw that big one. Anything to do with the weather or just?
Really,
Big fire in the work.
Set the clock yet. Sure.
I call this meeting of the Monroe Lake City Council to order. Would you please rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bittner,
Here.
Mr. Lunder.
Here.
Mrs. Thompson. Here. Mrs. Moore. Here. Mr. Shaboo.
Here.
Mr. Morris.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes from January 25th? Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Motion has been made by Mrs. Thompson, seconded by Mr. Morse. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bittner.
Aye.
Mr. Lunder.
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson. Aye. Mrs. Moore. Aye. Mr. Shaboo.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Correspondence. Clerk, is there any correspondence tonight?
I have no correspondence tonight, Madam, Mr. President.
Does any member of council have any correspondence tonight? Okay, hearing none, then we will move on. Administrative and department head reports. Mayor and Safety Director, Mr. Eva, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Johnson, members of council, Republic here this evening. I'm going to start out with the presentation of the 2021 Citizen of the Year. My choice for the 2021 Citizen of the Year is Suzanne Kasich. Suzanne has lived in Monroe Lake for 18 years. Suzanne was appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission by Mayor Rogers in February of 2009. Suzanne assumed the responsibility of Vice Chairman of Planning and Zoning in 2010 and also 2011. In 2012, Suzanne was picked by the commission to be chairperson. She has retained that title ever since. As chairperson for the last 10 years, she has handled the position very professionally by keeping the group on task, along with asking the right questions for all the situations that are addressed by the Planning and Zoning Commission. As has been discussed during recent council meetings, our volunteers are essential to running the city. Suzanne has volunteered for the last 13 years and will continue as a valuable member of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Congratulations, Suzanne Martin Casey. Fire department report for January. There were for January a total of 148 calls for service, 135 rescue EMS calls. Of those 135 calls, 37 calls were for invalid assist. Three of those calls required Narcan. 13 fire service calls. Fire prevention. They did go over and review the plans for the well now urgent care, and also approve the land and building for the urgent care. On Monday, January 31st, 2022, the department responded to 2 structure fires. The first one was at 8:22 hours located at the 7632 terminus. The stage of this fire was well advanced on their arrival, and the cold temperatures and high snow made it even more difficult. Residents were not home at the time, but unfortunately their pet died in the fire. There were no firefighter injuries. They were assisted by our auto-aid departments in Mentor, Willoughby, and Grand River. They were also assisted through a mutual aid box alarm from Kirtland, Willoughby Hills, Airport Harbor, and Concord fire departments, along with the Mentor Lake Police and Service departments. Red Cross was also called that day to assist the residents. That same day, a second one was at 7875 Richwood at approximately 18:26 hours. The occupants of the home smelled smoke in the basement. Upon investigation, it was found that an electrical box for the air conditioning shorted out, causing a small fire within the wall. Crews opened the wall and extinguished it with minimum damage. They were assisted by our auto-aid departments of Mentor, Willoughby, and Grand River. There was also yesterday on Miami another house fire. It was started in the kitchen. The guys were there right away, and they really did a nice job putting it out quickly. There was one pet that didn't make it, but everybody got out okay. Also in January anniversaries, firefighter Heiberger, 28 years, Lieutenant Brown, 27 years, and firefighter Stokes, 1 year. Tonight, I'd like to ask council to approve the resolution appointing Brent Moore to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Mr. Moore will be replacing Mr. Ralph Boomer, who has decided to step away after many years of volunteering. Thank you, Mr. Boomer, for your years of volunteering. There is also on the agenda tonight the 2022 road program. And once we get to that, I can give you the breakdown if you'd like of the asphalt concrete repairs. Been a lot of snow over the last several weeks, and the service department has done an excellent job with the roads and sidewalks. A lot of hours to clear the snow over the last month or so. I appreciate everything that they've done. They did very well. Also, Mr. Morris, I did look at your volunteer form. I like it. Thank you for putting that together. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please fire report.
Administrative Director, Mrs. Bartone, good evening.
Good evening. Mayor covered most of it. The only thing I'll add is we do have a new copier got installed this week. So if you think you may be missing something that you would normally get, check your spam. It just randomly sometimes will go to spam, and sometimes it won't. It doesn't say Toshiba anymore, it says do not reply.
Law Director, Mr. Lyons, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. President. I have no-
All right, thank you. Are there any questions of the administration or department heads? Hearing none, we'll move on to board and committee commission reports. Parks and Recreation.
Yes, Mr. President. Parks and Rec met on January 26, 2022. Started at 7 p.m. Present was Vice Chair Jennifer Jakosh, Catherine Bruce attended virtually. There was Renee Schaefer, Carol Stefanski, Samantha Wolf, and myself as council rep. Also present was Mayor Ela, Kevin Bittner, Bob Johnson, and Michelle Moore. The meeting started off with elections of officers. The Samantha Wolf was elected as chairperson and Jennifer J. Kosh was elected as vice chair. They took their respective roles at that time. The minutes of the previous meeting on October 27th was approved. There were no correspondence to report. Council representative gave a report on the activity of council, including issue in front of ordinance, zoning, and community development committees. Mary Eva reported that there is a meeting of the development group concerning the proposed development across from Miller Beach Park. He reported on the appropriations meeting that had been held. He also reported an anticipated increase in collected property tax. The city will be replacing the car and paying down debt with some of this money. His report also included the possibility of the city participating in SID program for the shore erosion at Loga Beach Park. The events of 2021 were discussed. There were only 7 or 8 homes that participated in the holiday lighting contest. It was suggested that the response was low due to people moving. The report was given on the senior survey. It appears from the survey that more entertainment for the seniors is requested. There were suggestions of getting more feedback from seniors by meeting with them, possibly at Andrew's place. There was also a suggestion of a booth at the Fall Fest. There was discussion of the future events for 2022, including the citywide yard sale for June 9th through 11th, to be conducted at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. with permit fee costing $3 a piece. The event of Fill the Cruiser for school supplies is slated for August 5th through the 7th. The trunk sale that is done here in the City Hall parking lot is slated for August 13th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The permits for that will be $5. The Fall Fest is tentatively, not tentatively, it is scheduled for September 10th from noon to late, and they need volunteers. So, Mr. Boomer, maybe you could step up and help them. You got free time now, sir. The holiday lighting contest, December 6th for the entries, December 7th for the committee to judge. Public vote will be from December 9th through the 20th. And the charity contribution will be
Excuse me. We need